What a difference a week makes. Hello, boys and girls. You're now watching Peter's Raw Recap. Again, Peter's Raw Recap are YouTube exclusives, where as soon as Raw goes off the air, I tell you what happens right off the bat, and I tell you how I feel about it. But I'm going to start off with telling you how I feel about this show ultimately. Now, if you've been watching, especially last week, probably the most embarrassing display of network television I've ever seen, I didn't have any high hopes moving forward for quite some time. And, when it comes to Raw, it's from week to week. It really is. Sometimes you get like a week that's good. You get a week that's bearable. Sometimes you get a week that's pretty badass. And then you get weeks that are just, oh my Lord, what the fuck were they thinking? Now, this week was pretty badass. And I don't know whether it was the fact that the WWE creative watched this show. No, I'm kidding. I'm just joking. If they actually were tuning in to Twitter or maybe tuning in to different podcasts or what have you and hearing a lot of, to put it nicely, constructive criticism. That was my video last week. It was tough love, constructive criticism. But for some reason, they got it right this week. And especially at a good time where it's a go-home show to the Hell in a Cell match. Now, I'm not saying that this episode was perfect. It wasn't. A lot of loose ends, a lot of things that I'd much rather not have seen. Things where it was just left up to the air, the speculation. And some matches where the wrestlers looked pretty tired. Some victories I didn't agree with over certain wrestlers. But once you really compare it to the rest of the shit, and it's like, and I'll say this. This is like, in terms of the past weeks of garbage, anything just slightly better, and I'll admit, makes, it ends up becoming that, like, almost like a fucking blessing from the gods. It's still not the greatest, but damn it, it wasn't as bad as that shit from the weeks prior. That's all I'm saying. And this week's Raw Go Home show is from Dallas. And they've been promoting this ahead of time, which is good, especially with the guest showing up. You got Stone Cold Steve Austin that's been advertised. You got Ric Flair that's been advertised. You got HBK, Shawn Michaels that's been advertised. And that's something they don't do too often. Just let you know that like people are showing up because they want it to be a surprise. And I'm like, yo, they got to let that theory go. Especially if you're trying to compete with people who are watching Monday Night Football or just the casuals, as Nathan Newman would like to say, to get them to tune in. You can't expect people to tune in and expect for a crackerjack because, crackerjack fine, because if they just tune in and nothing happens, it's just like, man, I just wasted 3 hours of my life waiting for something cool to happen. So get out in front of it. Let people know that you got some special guests coming up. And straight off the bat, last week you got Kane in front of a telephone, speakerphone. We don't even get Kane this week. That fucking thing alone just made this show 1 billion times better. I'm not someone who downs Kane. I just go, you look at for what he is and how long he's been there and being thrust into this main event again for the WWE Championship against Seth Rollins. I just go like, no, we don't need that. And we didn't need him every week doing the whole like Jekyll Hyde Kane corporate Kane thing. Demon Kane corporate Kane. And we just didn't need him this week. We got enough people showing up to do some shit to where he could just take a fucking nap and we see you at Hell in a Cell. So that alone. And then we open it with the glass breaking. Stone Cold Steve Austin comes out. And honestly, I popped like a motherfucker. Because I'm just like, oh, it was like a relief. It was not even like, it was a relief pop. Like, oh, that was refreshing. And he comes out and he just talks shit and he puts over his podcast. And he could have said anything. He could have went out there and started singing fucking America the Beautiful. I don't think anyone would have gave a shit. He just would have went out there and sung a kick-ass fucking America the Beautiful and God Bless America and any other song that you could come up with. And it would have just been awesome because it's Steve Austin. He's a fucking badass, right? He's a legend. He's a Hall of Famer. He's a guy that you always want to show up whenever you can get him. And he get out there and he cuts. And unfortunately, my fucking stream goes out, right? I don't even care. Because just hearing that glass break was all I fucking needed to hear. And he got up to putting over his podcast with Brock Lesnar, which is happening right now. And I'd imagine, like, in between, then and there, by the time I get my stream back going, The Undertaker's coming out. So I don't know if he was like, all right, I'm out, peace. And then The Undertaker came out immediately. I'm going to have to go back and watch and see how that transition went. But yes, you start off with Steve Austin, and then you get The Undertaker coming out. With Brock Lesnar coming out, they don't go blow for blow, but they cut promos. And you know what? Less is more, okay? We all know The Undertaker's been in Mexico teaming up with Demon Kane and shit. So he's actually trying to knock off a little more ring rust going into this match against Brock Lesnar. So he's just like, the gates of hell are going to look like the gates of heaven. What the fuck I'm going to do to you in the ring, right? At the Hell in a Cell. Brock Lesnar comes out. Oh, shit, here we go. Paul Heyman cuts a pretty awesome promo. And then Brock Lesnar acts like he's going to actually get into the ring. He gets on the apron. Paul Heyman screams at him about getting off that apron. And he gets off the apron and walk off. Now, I've been pretty disappointed in the fact that we've only dealt with video packages of this Hell in a Cell match. Like, we haven't seen the two of them in the same room since Night of Champions. And then we got Brock Lesnar the day after. We haven't seen him since. We haven't seen him in 4 weeks. And we find out through the Go to Hell tour promo that they were going to actually meet in Hell in a Cell. So this is the first time the two of them have actually been on TV to promote this show, promote the pay-per-view, since it was even announced. And, it's about damn time. My counterpart, Jake, from Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling, is like, no, we don't need Undertaker out there a lot, and I partly agree with them. But if they're the main event, they need to show up more often to sort of put the show over. This whole, like, I'm going to chill at home or chill somewhere else and then show up the night before to give you a reason to watch while we're giving all these, like, razzle-dazzle fucking video packages. It just doesn't really work for me. It doesn't. And it shouldn't work for you. It shouldn't work for anybody. Just come out every once in a while and give us a reason to get the pay-per-view. Did this give me a reason to watch the pay-per-view? No, not really. Did I expect them to come out and brawl it out? Not really. But it was a fucking enough just to see them cut promos on each other and look like they about to fight. And we've already seen them fight. But this is another thing. This is another thing, being that it's a Hell in a Cell. And about fucking time they showed up. Next up, we get John Cena with the Dudley Boys versus the New Day. And the New Day comes out, and I saw earlier Hurricane Helms posted something about a New Day shirt. It's like, I don't know if this is the ugliest shirt or the greatest shirt. And it was a cartoon, sort of fruity cartoon of the New Day riding a unicorn. So as soon as they walk out, and I guess they're trying to sell the shirt, they start talking about like they're like a unicorn. And I ain't even gonna go any further than that. They in terms of that part of the promo, but they start talking about what the fuck they start talking about. It's basically they just cut a promo on Cena and the Dudleys about what happened to them last week. And then they talk about, what the fuck else? Then they sort of rag on the Dallas Cowboys, like any good heel should do. Just get your cheap heat talking about whatever professional team of the city that you're in. We get the trombone, the return of the trombone is all busted up. Now, if you watch SmackDown, Woods actually used that late to SmackDown on the Dudley Boys on last Thursday. So I thought the trombone gimmick was going to be gone. It's partly gone. He couldn't toot from it, but it made an appearance for them to actually show what happened on SmackDown. Yes, something happened on SmackDown, and why the trombone was all mangled. The match is pretty decent. But Xavier, in the midst of all the chaos, gets Devon rolled up with a handful of tights. And then after that, our World Tag Team Champions get shown up by the faces. They really fuck Xavier Wood up. He gets hit with an AA, and then he's power bombed off the top rope from Bubba through a table. And he's dead again. This guy has more lives than a motherfucking cat, I swear to you. This guy gets killed almost every week somehow, but he bounces back. So I guess that's just, again, they're setting up for their Hell in a Cell pay-per-view match, but the thumb in this equation, Mr. John Cena, still does not have a Hell in a Cell match. Till now, he does not have a Hell in a Cell match. There's reports we find out later, next up, but that Orton is either injured, he's not in the building, maybe the Wyatts got to him, or what have you. I guess we'll have to find out through the dirt sheets and through the old tweeters what's actually happened. Now, I speculate that he's not really happy with being on the Hell in a Cell pre-show. He's Randy fucking Orton. He shouldn't be. He should be pissed off that he's on a goddamn pay-per-view pre-show. He has every fucking right. The fuck you doing putting him on a pre-show? Even though he's teaming up with Dean Ambrose should fucking deserve better too. He should put his foot down. I was like, fuck a pre-show. So the storyline is that he's not around. He may be injured. The Wyatts got to him. So they're trashing basically the pre-show that was supposed to have been Harper and Strowman versus Dean Ambrose and Randy Orton, which was a waste of an opening segment last week. What you think about it. But I swear to God, I hope to God that Orton has put his foot down. It's like, I ain't no goddamn pre-show match. I'm Randy fucking Orton. I should RKO all you motherfuckers back here for even thinking that was okay to put me in. I hope that's the case. We get Ambrose winning back with Renee Young, and he's just pissed that Orton's not around. And that he gets sick of the Wyatt family always fucking up his plans. So he's like, fuck this. He's pissed off too, which is pretty awesome. Because we don't get enough promos of just angry motherfuckers. So he's like, I'm sick of this crap. I'm calling him out. And what he wanted to do was set up a handicap match where it's just him versus Strowman and Harper. Remember that. Strowman and Harper. So, like, who's going to be his tag team partner? He's like, fuck, I don't care. I'll fight them both myself. But they got to set him up with a partner, and you find out later on what's going on. But it was refreshing to see a pissed off person. Jesus, no one's ever pissed anymore. All right. You got Nikki Bella with Alicia Fox versus Naomi Banks. Wasn't that the fucking Fresh Prince of Bel-Air? Naomi Banks? God damn it. Well, we got Sasha Banks and Naomi. And whatever. The match went too long. Banks get a hot tag, and it is short-lived because she catches a fucking haymaker of a fucking forearm to the face. It looked like a tater. It smelled like a tater. It may have been a tater. Because you know how some people get hot tags and they get popped, but, you know, they bounce back from it? Or say they're in there for a while and maybe they get, like, taken down until the next hot tag of the person who's been having their ass kicked the entire match. This didn't happen that way. Sasha Banks' hot tag probably lasted no longer than 25 seconds. And then, bam! I mean, it looked rough. And she went down. And she goes back to the apron like, I don't even know why I was out there in the first place. And then she gets hit with another one. Didn't look so tatery, but nevertheless, you see what's happening here. She puts Naomi in a rack attack for the pin. So, and she got a lot of offense in, too. It was almost like, I am the queen bee of this motherfucker, so everyone else bow down to me like a fucking diva should. Now, again, I'm falling in love with Asuka. Nikki Bella, I love you. And I will always love you. But damn, you really went in there and owned that motherfucker. Like, you didn't stand a chance if you were in the ring with Nikki Bella for that match. I don't care who it could have been. But yeah, she gets to rack attack Naomi, and Team Bad goes down in flames as Team Bella stands tall. Now, you have to take into consideration she had to win because of her match going into... She had to get the pin, look strong, get the pin going in to her Hell in a Cell match against Charlotte. I have her predicted to win her second Divas title. What happens with Naomi, we don't know. It looks like they may still build under the contention between her and Sasha Banks in terms of like crowd favorite. We find out, and this is what I said earlier, we found out that Kane has been suspended because of his actions from last week, and it's like, wow, thank God. And we're talking about a decent first hour. How do you top that first hour? Well, the second hour we get the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn fucking Michaels. Now, granted, what I predicted last week with Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling, episode, 60? I thought they were going to get all those guys out there, Ric Flair, HBK, and Stone Cold, to sit in a panel and just like talk about who's going to win the fucking Hell in a Cell versus, Brock Lesnar versus The Undertaker. They didn't do that, thank God. And they had them come out and they had Stone Cold come out and do his promo, putting over his podcast. You have HBK coming out to just put over the Hell in a Cell and the fact that he did the first one and so forth. Now, this wasn't ideal, but it was better than what we've been getting. And him and Seth Rollins get into a bickering contest, and they go back and forth. But what happens here is that HBK basically sets up the match with Ryback. Where you going? You got a match with Ryback. And that's him kind of getting back at Rollins for talking down to him. It turned into HBK 2.0. And HBK's like, I've never tried to be 2.0 with something. And that's how that went back and forth. Just the old lion versus the young buck. And he's trying to basically claim position. It was decent. It was decent. But goddamn, Seth Rollins talks too much. That's all. So we get Rollins versus Ryback, and Ryback is wearing like his pink breast cancer awareness onesie. Real cute. Real cute. Don't ever do that. Okay, you've done your fucking spot for breast cancer. Don't come out in a pink shirt. Don't come out in a pink fucking onesie, okay? Right back. I know you watch this show. And I think his punishment for wearing that was to do the job, because that's what the fuck he did. The match itself was just Rollins working the midsection. And it's funny, he lost. I mean, I wish, well, in order to make him look strong going into his match with Kevin Owens for the Intercontinental Belt, you might want to just do something a little screwy. Not have him just go down in flames to a fucking pedigree so easily at the end. You're going to get over Rollins to make him look strong going into his match with Kane. But he doesn't need that. He's the champion. It could have been something. He could have been scared and ran off somehow to make Ryback at least somewhat of a threat to Kevin Owens. But no, sorry, couldn't happen. Ryback, man. I don't know. All right, we get Ziggler, Neville, Cesaro versus Sheamus, Rusev, and Barrett. I tuned out because I was thinking, okay, I know who's getting the pin here. Who's getting pinned here? I thought Neville was going to get pinned, but in fact, it was Ziggler that got pinned. This whole match is just mid-card hell. Mid-fucking-card hell. You got Ziggler, who's this guy, Rolling Stones Wrestler of the Year last year. You get Neville, the man that Gravity forgot. He's about to be your next new high flyer. You got Cesaro, the Swiss Superman. Cesaro section signs every fucking where. I mean, everywhere. And then you get Sheamus, your Money in the Bank holder. Right now, he's a veteran. I mean, I think he's been there for 6 years. He's like, he's a veteran right now. You get Rusev, who's in this shitty situation. Shitty situation with this whole, like, proposal to Lana. They're going to get married and the storyline they have there. And you have King Barrett, a guy they just has never been able to get right. Ever since those fucking chairs fell on him, he ain't never been able to get back up. So you get this clusterfuck of lovable losers. Mid-card hell. These guys. And just see what happens. They all look kind of tired too. I don't know what it was. Maybe they were doing something the night before. But they all looked fucking out of it. It wasn't the best performance from anybody. And you get Barrett pinning Ziggler after a brogue kick on the outside. Cesaro did the damn thing, but Neville, whatever. So Neville's gotten pinned, Cesaro's been pinned, and now Ziggler's gotten pinned. I don't think out of that whole group against one another, I don't think the heels have lost a single match. So we only hope we never see this again. But on the contrary. Next up, we get Ric Flair, and he's putting over the fact that Dallas is the home to next year's WrestleMania. So we get a podcast plug from Stone Cold Steve Austin. We get the Hell in a Cell plug by HBK, and now we get the WrestleMania plug in Dallas from Ric Flair. Now he went in there. I got exactly what I wanted. Actually, I wanted to go back to the whole thing with Rollins. And I thought that when he was like, give me my music, turn on my music, I really thought, I swear to God, I thought I was going to get some sweet chin music. That's what I hoped was going to happen, but it didn't happen. But nevertheless, we got HBK talking his shit. And we got to styling and profiling by Ric Flair. He uses that as a means to introduce Roman Reigns actually as the partner to Dean Ambrose versus Harper and Strowman. As he gives Ric Flair gives the mic to Roman Reigns, we get that shit, right? And I'm like, thank God we ain't got to hear Roman Reigns talk. But that wasn't the case. Now, maybe I wasn't paying that much attention, or maybe I just didn't think much of it. But I thought standing outside that ring was Bray Wyatt, Braun Strowman, and Harper. Clearly, Rowan was standing right there, but some reason it hadn't registered in my brain because they made no announcement of his return. They made no announcement that he had healed up and that he was back, or that he's even back with the fucking Wyatt family. We don't even know what the fuck's going on. So in my brain, I don't even know that it's fucking Rowan just standing there. I know I'm not the only person until the light comes on, because what happens? We get musical chairs with fucking Roman Reigns. He's getting the what treatment. He's talking to Bray Wyatt like, I know you're scared of me. I know you're fucking scared of me. And he taps him. He keeps tapping him. He's like, you fucking scared of me to be in the Hell in a Cell. And then all hell breaks loose. He beats everyone's ass with a chair. And that's, he stands tall in the ring. And then we see Rowan. And I'm like, it still hasn't really registered in my head that it's Rowan. And then I go, what the fuck is Harper? Where the fuck is Harper? Is Harper and Orton on strike? Are they on strike together? Now, what's happened is, like, there was a picture that was taken down in Mexico of the Wyatt family wearing Harper's shirt, and he's with like everyone. I think Kevin Owens in this shot. I think Ziggler's in this shot. I think Cesaro's in this shot. It's a fucking shot. It's a posse shot of everyone wearing like yeah shirts by Harper. And I hope he's not getting buried for that. I really hope he's not getting buried for that. That's why we didn't see him in the ring tonight. And we saw a non-dramatic return to Rowan. I hope that's not the case. But as for now, what I like to believe is that Orton and Harper have put their foot down. It's like, fuck being an opening act, a pre-show act. Fuck that. Go to hell with that shit. But I know that's not the case. But let's have a little fun with this, can we? But god damn it, WWE, let us know bullshit when that happens. Rowan's return, just let us know. Don't be fucking with our heads like that. But yeah, as the chairs have gone flying and he's just smacking the living shit out of Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt and fucking Rowan, Ambrose comes in to save someone who doesn't need saving. Okay, so we get those two just standing in the ring tall. He wasn't really needed to come out. HBK, Triple H, Stephanie McMahon with Rollins talking shit as always, and HBK is talking about like, well, man, like you should join up with the guys because apparently it turned into a three-way out all of a sudden. It turned into a six-man all of a sudden. HBK is like, Triple H tells HBK we need one more person, and it was almost implying that, like, hey, dude, how about you get out there and wrestle? It's like, yo, cut that shit out. But he's like, hey, how about Rollins gets out there? And he ruses him basically to get out there. And he's like, you know what, I am going to go out there. So we get this tease of a reunion of the Shield, because he's definitely going out there to join those guys to show that he's the man. Flair versus Brie Bella. Remember last week, missile drop kick Brie to pin the champion with Paige in the back, looking at TV sideways. I'm looking at the TV. Do anyone look at the TV like this? I hope not. I think that's something they only do for the WWE. But fuck this match. Charlotte Flair wins with the placeholder. Charlotte, it's the cops. Charlotte placeholder Flair gets the figure 8 in, and that's the match. All right, that's all I speak on it. And then as Paige is in the back watching the TV like this, a sassy fucking Renee Young walks up and starts basically accusing her for beating up Natty on SmackDown. Now, I watch SmackDown. I have a review called Peter Talks SmackDown. And I cannot recall, and maybe I just didn't care. Maybe I just tuned it out because it was something that was so fucking silly. I do not remember Natty getting her ass handed to her. I don't. I completely don't know. And they bring it up, I'm like, Natty got hurt on SmackDown. She got beat up. She got ambushed. What the fuck's that all about? But Renee Young sitting there fucking yelling. She's popping shit at Paige that she may have done it. And Paige cuts a promo about a whole bunch of people may have done it. And she even brought up Caitlyn that she left. Whatever. It was weird promo. Stop scripting this crap. But all these people either present, past, or have left are all in this promo. She calls her Sally Jesse Raphael because she's trying to like get the, she's trying to get tough. If anyone remembers Sally Jesse Raphael, she was someone who did sort of trash TV in the early 90s, late 80s. It's your baby kind of shit. And I'm old enough to remember that. But she dropped that as a reference. Vince McMahon had to write that. That's all I'm saying. But then she cuts. She's like, "You're not even close to being Aaron Andrews, and you're not even that cute." There you go. Mark Henry versus Kevin Owens. I completely tuned out until Henry started getting some offense, and he looked like he was kind of smacking him around. But the inevitable loss for Henry. What was impressive is that Kevin Owens got him up for a pop-up powerbomb. Boom. I was like, fuck. But man, I just hate seeing Mark Henry getting jobbed out. Ryback shows up. Henry throws his ass back into the ring, and he gets hit with a pretty vicious powerbomb. And there you have it. He runs out. He just had his ass kicked by the world champion earlier today, talking to Nathan Newman for the New Day podcast. New Day, as in my last name is Day. His first name is my last name is Day. His last name is Newman. So we go by the New Day podcast, DAYE, NEU, DAYE. And I was talking about, man, Ryback needs to be in a formidable, contendership type position. Then he loses to Seth Rollins, so we just throw that out the fucking window. But yeah, he loses to Seth Rollins, and then he comes out and powerbombs the Intercontinental Champion. Like, that's supposed to fucking mean anything now. You just jobbed out, man. Any saving grace of you looking so much strong for your Hell in a Cell match for the Intercontinental belt is gone. I don't care what the fuck. You could have came out and you could have broke his neck. You could have fucking snatched his arms off, like straight up Mortal Kombat style. There's no making you look strong now. You're a fucking jabroni. Rollins in the back with Renee Young, and she's like trying to get the skinny on a reunion of the Shield, and Rollins debunks that. So, the update we get is that John Cena, who does not have a match at Hell in a Cell, will give us a U.S. Open challenge. Here we go. Cena trying to steal the spotlight from all the other jabronis that are on the fucking schedule. Now, on the card. Now, there's no way he can take steam away from the Hell in a Cell of Brock Lesnar and The Undertaker. But he damn sure, with that U.S. Open challenge, steal the spotlight from everyone else. So a guy who doesn't even have a feud going in has a potential to be the biggest match outside of the main event, outside of the fucking WWE Championship, and from the Hell in a Cell match between Brock Lesnar and Undertaker. And you wonder why we're pretty fucking tired of John Cena. Now everyone's going to be like, oh, yay, U.S. Open Challenge, yay. Shut up. If you're going to hate the guy, hate the guy. Don't try to find reasons to like him, because if that's the case, you liked him in the first place. You liked John Cena in the first place. You're a John Cena fucking fanboy. This U.S. Open Challenge shouldn't change shit. Motherfuckers are happy I saw tweets, motherfuckers happy that it's gonna be a U.S. Open challenge with John Cena. Give me a fucking break. You gotta be kidding me. And then we find out that the Dean Ambrose, Randy Orton versus Harper and Strowman has been changed to a rematch to the match we just saw earlier, which is Ziggler, Cesaro, Neville versus Barrett, Sheamus, and Rusev. We get the 6-man tag, and we get the reunion of the Shield. And Seth Rollins is being a jerk. He's been a total douchebag to the other guys. And they don't seem to be upset with him at all. I guess water under the bridge. This guy's a champ. This guy's screwed. He broke up the Shield. He screwed Roman Reigns out of a WrestleMania fucking match. And now he's showing up. And they're like, hey, look at this guy. You think he's so tough. This was not they went in the ring together, but this was no Shield reunion. We didn't get even like they did, I think there was tables, ladders, and chairs where they did a little something. They even did a triple power bomb. We got none of this shit. We just got a douchebag Roman Reigns, and then we get a pretty decent match. I mean, whatever. And then you get Seth Rollins hopping off the apron, claiming that his leg is all busted up. Him tapping, try to get energy for Dean Ambrose to get give him the hot tag. Whatever. He finally gets the hot tag to Roman Reigns, and that's it. Basically, that's it. He's just going the fuck off, and until he gets strangled by Strowman. Then Dean Ambrose comes in with a kendo stick, smacks him with it, no sell. He breaks the kendo stick, Strowman does. And then, but that ends in a DQ. That's how this fucking ends in a DQ. Kendo sticks get broken by Braun Strowman, and then he just fucking goes off on... does he go off on Dean? What happens after that? I think somehow they end up outside. He tries to do a dive on him. He catches him, and he fucking gives him a spine buster on the outside. Next thing you know, Mr. Air Boost, which is Roman Reigns, he comes flying over, and then he's a fucking house of fire. And he just hits a bunch of spears, and that's how the show ends. Lackluster ending. I mean, it looked like something that had been cool, especially with the fact that the Shield do sort of a mini reunion. But it just ends up being about Roman Reigns. And we don't get much Bray Wyatt at all. I mean, there's a point where he just straight up disappears. I mean, I predict that Roman Reigns is going to get the win here. As much as he's been vocal on the mic, and as much as he's been kind of like the alternate poster child for the Susan G. Komen, slowly but surely, he's getting up there. John Cena taking a sabbatical. We know who's going to be pushed to the forefront. And it's your old pal, Roman Reigns. And he's going to challenge for that belt after his Bray Wyatt feud is done after Hell in a Cell. This is what we're going to look forward to moving forward. I guess for Survivor Series. Whoopee. So that's Peter's Raw recap. I got into 40 minutes. I thought I was going to do this a lot faster. I apologize for making these long. But I got so much to fucking say about this shit. So do yourself a favor, hit that subscription button below. And if you're interested, go check out one video back. It's just an audio, but of the New Day podcast. It's me and Nathan Newman talking about a whole plethora of things. We talk about, well, anyway, just go back and read it in the thing. I'm gonna go ahead and end this shit. Subscribe, leave a comment, thumbs up, share. I said I was going to do a video of the top 10. That got pushed back. I apologize. It will be coming. But be sure to tune in. Not only check out the New Day podcast, that's episode 14. Check out Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling. This will be episode 61 with my good pal, WWE apologist, Jake Grandi. And we're going to be giving our predictions. I did our predictions for the New Day. We're going to do our predictions for the updated predictions for Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling. Also check out Peter Talks SmackDown. And then I plan to do live reactions of the John Cena Open Challenge. And I'm going to also do the Hell in a Cell live reactions to I ain't doing that, but to Brock Lesnar and The Undertaker. So again, subscribe. You can check out the podcast on iTunes. Again, Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling. That's WRASSLIN. Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling. You can find me. So Stitcher Radio, iTunes, SoundCloud. You can find me on Twitter, PJTW Central. Again, that's PJTW Central, or Ellen Japanese, which is one word, LINJAPANESE. LINJAPANESE. That's Ellen Japanese. Do all those things. I hope to hear from you, and you'll be hearing from me soon. See you this Wednesday for Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling, episode 61. Do yourself a favor, motherfuckers. Watch out for those foreign objects. Peace.